I've had this fire in me for as long as I can remember to find something new, to build it, and to make it my own. And I feel like Optex is that project now. I feel like this is the project that I've always been looking for, to where I can give it my 110% and devote everything I have to it. And now that I have that, I feel like that's 99% of the inspiration that I've ever needed. It's just having the opportunity to do this in the first place.
Greetings, everybody. I'm Brendan from MarketSquare.io, and I am here today with a very special guest, Tyler Pena of Optex Protocol, a set of decentralized exchange protocols in the Stratus ecosystem. Tyler, welcome.
Thanks. It's great to be here.
Awesome. So I think some people probably are aware of the fact that we did our very first DeFi spotlight on Optex a couple of weeks back, and it turned out to be very, very popular. Stratus community got really involved and read the article, checked it up, got really hyped about it, which is great. But for those of our viewers who don't know about Optex and you, could you tell me a little bit about yourself and your personal journey in crypto?
Yeah, sure. So I've been a developer for about 10 years now. Kind of started out of high school, first as a hobby, building small websites for people, and then it grew into more of a passion of mine throughout my college years. I got my bachelor's of science in IT and graduated in 2015, and then since then have been taking web development and all sorts of different types of development very much seriously. I got into blockchain in around 2017. I had heard of Bitcoin and crypto before, but I never really paid attention until 2017. And then also in 2017 is when I found Stratus later on in the year. Once Stratus came out with C Sharp smart contracts, that's when I got involved in actually trying to build out blockchain solutions. And they had their first hackathon. I believe it was back in late 2018. And so I applied for that, and I built a very simple decentralized exchange type system that was more of a traditional type exchange order book. So you find an order at a price you want, and then you click to fill it manually. So I built that out as a hobby after winning the hackathon for about a year. And I was speaking to Chris and the founders of Stratus, and then that's when they told me about the Stratus Decentralized Accelerator that they came out with. And this was a project where community members got to vote on projects to fund using community funds. And so that's essentially where Optex was born. We created the first Stratus Decentralized Accelerator proposal. It got voted in. We got the community funding. This was all in early 2021, and here we are today, late 2021, wrapping up the first version of the protocol, getting ready to go out.
Optex seems like a pretty big deal, especially with the Stratus ecosystem. And judging by the reactions and the sentiments of members of the community, which is awesome. How would you describe your interactions with Stratus and the wider community in which you're involved? Because obviously I see you on the Discord on a daily basis, interacting and talking to people. How's it been for you, your general interactions?
It's been great. The Stratus community is great. You know, before I was building anything, I was going into their Discord channels and just talking with my friends every day about projects we enjoyed. And so that was Stratus for the longest time. The community are the ones that supported and voted in the Optex proposal. So they're obviously excited about what it can do and what it could bring to Stratus ecosystem in general. I still maintain pretty heavy communication with the wider community, interact with them daily, and albeit I have to be a little bit more quiet now with what's being worked on and whatnot, so we can't share everything all the time. But we still maintain communication, still hang out with our friends in Discord, and we don't plan on leaving.
Great, that's great. Yeah, it seems like a really great community to me from everything that I've witnessed, and very very active, which is really great to see. And I know that Stratus uses C Sharp as its core code. How easy has it been to create decentralized exchange protocols using C Sharp, and have you encountered any serious challenges along the way?
Yeah, that's a good question. It, if you know C Sharp, it's incredibly easy to write smart contracts and to work with Stratus. There's essentially no difference. If you know C Sharp, you're 95% of the way there to writing your smart contract. There's only a few smart contract caveats that you that you need to be aware of. But that's the same with any blockchain smart contract framework. The bulk of it is general knowledge from writing a simple C# class. If you know what a C# class is, you're there. So writing the smart contracts wasn't really a challenge in itself. It seemed very familiar for me. It was very normal. The challenges came with the certain caveats of DeFi and decentralized exchange protocols and what you need to deal with and what you need to handle.
So it was a logical choice for you just because it's such a popular language as it is. I mean, most developers know C sharp, so
Mhm.
it's relatively easy. Like you said, if you already know C sharp, then you're 95% of the way there. So it's that tiny little sliver that really is where the hacking and hard work comes in, I imagine.
Exactly, and it's just little things here and there that you come to learn, and things click like, oh yeah. But other than that, it's just a C# class, and it's familiar, jumping in right away.
That's great, man. Fantastic. Now, look, I'm a musician, and if you could tell from like the guitars and stuff behind me, I don't know how visible they are on this interview, but when it comes to music, usually there's one part or hook everyone looks forward to in a song. What's the hook in Optics?
Well, it's hard to choose one. You know, being the first DeFi protocol on Stratus has its benefits in itself, both for Optex and for the Stratus ecosystem, because now they have these protocols that developers can build with and build new things, and they don't have to start from scratch. So we're basically adding a new tool to the Stratus tool belt. Um, so I think that in itself is a hook, but there are also other things that are different from other DeFi protocols that we have. And I think the biggest thing to choose one would be the governance with staking and liquidity mining. It's baked in to the core market or the core staking market of the protocol. And essentially, the more liquidity you have in liquidity pools, so the more deposits are in there, the better price action users are going to get. The higher volume it can handle, the higher trades can happen with less slippage and less price impact. And so liquidity mining has really shown to help that in other projects where users deposit liquidity and then they use that in order to mine for new tokens. In our case, we have the liquidity mining for the governance token. So you mine for the governance token, and while you're mining, that incentivizes people to provide liquidity to get these higher liquidity amounts for better price action and whatnot. So they're incentivized to mine for the governance tokens, but then they can turn around and use those governance tokens to stake in their favorite liquidity pools. And so when you stake in your liquidity pools, you're not just throwing tokens in there for nothing and just sitting and waiting on returns. No, it's actually staking is about governance and voting. So when you stake, you're actually voting for that liquidity pool to receive more liquidity mining in the future, which should bolster its liquidity amounts and hopefully raise that. So the popular pools will have more staking, which will add liquidity mining, which should lead to more liquidity in the pool. And it should help everybody kind of have a choice in what direction liquidity mining goes and which pools get these specific features activated and when. And I think that's really cool, and it's something slightly different than other DeFi protocols have done because now it's not just an option; it's baked into the core of it all forever.
Oh, fantastic. That's very, very impressive. So just having that as a fundamental aspect of optics, you believe that's really what separates it from other existing protocols right now, like Uniswap and those sorts.
I think it'll make a big difference having that not be a promotional, temporary, sometimes event happening, and having it be all the time baked in core protocol.
Yeah, I think having that as a constant is definitely a major draw
Hmm.
card. So it sounds, I think that would very much be the hook for you guys, from the sounds of things. And then in
Yeah.
terms of assets that users will be able to deposit when using Optics, I read a bit about Strax, obviously the native token of the Stratus ecosystem. Stratus, sorry, I'm never sure if I'm saying that correctly. But and then there's also CRS tokens. Could you tell me a little bit more about how that functions?
So Stratus has a main chain. Um, that's the Strax main chain that doesn't have smart contract capability. It runs on proof of stake, um, and its focus is closer to Bitcoin, even though it's proof of stake and not proof of work. There's no smart contract capability. It allows it to maintain its speed. CRS are used on the Cirrus sidechain. So side chains can run in parallel to Strax main chain, and CRS is the native token of the Stratus sidechain. So you can get CRS in multiple ways. And one of the ways is just to swap Strax for CRS at a 1-to-1 ratio. So if you want CRS tokens so you can use Opdex, you'll just swap them. So if you swap 10 Stratus tokens, you'll get 10 CRS tokens to use, and you can go back and forth. There's no penalties. So that's CRS. CRS is a base token in all Opdex pairs. So every single Opdex liquidity pool will have the CRS token as one of the tokens in the pool. And then the other token of the pool will be any one SRC token. And SRC tokens are the equivalent of Ethereum's ERC tokens. They're alt tokens, I guess you could say, of Ethereum. So Opdex doesn't add or whitelist assets at all. That's not our goal. We don't manage it. We don't have any admin abilities over the protocol at all. The protocol is not even ours. It's an open source MIT license. So as far as assets go, that's up to the users to create them, to build, to bring them on, and to add the liquidity pools with the assets that they want. We don't choose that. However, Stratus has Interflux, and Interflux is their Ethereum interoperability bridge. And so right now you can use Stratus's Interflux bridge to send Strax tokens over to Ethereum as WStrax. But in the future, you're also going to be able to send over ERC20 tokens from Ethereum and wrap them and bring them over to Cirrus as well. So not only on Cirrus can you wrap tokens and bring them over from other feature integrated chains, but you'll be able to make your own projects, just like Opdex, and build natively on the Cirrus sidechain as well. So there will be a mix of assets in the future, and it'll be 100% up to the community to decide who adds and trades what.
So this is fully decentralized. It's not just a CeFi pretending to be DeFi.
Yep.
It's completely community governed.
100%. Yep. We have no access to control anything whatsoever.
I think that's what we all want to hear. Mm-hmm. That's amazing. Great, Tyler. And then from our initial interview, when we talked in the DeFi Spotlight, we did the article. It sounds like, from what I gathered, maybe I'm reading this wrong, but it doesn't sound like you're much of a fan of layer 2 solutions. Why is that?
It's not that I'm not a fan of layer 2 solutions at all. They're obviously great achievements in the blockchain space, and they help in many different ways. I think the thing more is, though, is if you require all of these additional layers to be added on to make something cheap enough to use, that may be a problem for the end user, especially the beginners who are just getting into crypto. You find out that you have to use one app to send your tokens to another app, and you have to hop through all these hoops just to get to where you want to go, and that's a bit of a blocker for people. So I think that's more of what I was going towards. Not against them at all. They work. And actually, in many sense, Cirrus can be thought of as a layer 2, depending on your perspective, right? So if you're going to be using Stratus's Cirrus sidechain, where Opdex will live, you may be using native Cirrus tokens or native SRC tokens, so it'll seem like a layer 1 to you. You don't have these hops to go through. But if you're wrapping tokens from another integrated blockchain, such as Ethereum, you're going to feel like Cirrus is the layer 2 at that point. So because you'll be sending tokens from Ethereum over to Cirrus as wrap tokens and using them there. So Cirrus can be thought of as a layer 2 in itself, and I'm not against that at all. More for me is just having access to easy, simple solutions for users to get to, and Cirrus can be that. It can be that native layer for people to hop into and start moving on right away, versus having to, move from layer 1 to layer 2 using different wallets and whatnot.
Okay, so it's more about ease of use and simplicity, and less gates for users to have to kind of go through, or hoops to jump through, because that's obviously a major roadblock within the DeFi space. I think a lot of people kind of look at it and go, "Whoa, I can't handle this. This is just way too much back and forth." And that's
exactly.
I think, yeah, it's a major problem with layer 2. I think a lot of people kind of hold it up as a sort of be all and end all of solutions. But I don't. But again, it's like, well, is that really scaling? Is it really is it really, or is it kind of like false in
Yeah,
a sense, or like quasi? It's not
yeah,
authentic in that sense. So I see what you're saying. I mean, I guess you could debate the semantics and the the little nuances between, say, like a side chain and layer two or whatever. But yeah, I guess it all depends on, as you say, that whole how you decide to engage with the protocol as well.
yeah. I think the biggest thing is for a new user, can they hop in straight into where they need to be? And with
Mm.
Cirrus, you can, and with known Ethereum layer twos, you kind of can't. There are some prerequisite steps you have to make. And really, for the most part, it's for scalability and for cheaper transactions. And Cirrus kind of has all of that by default. So
Yeah, we definitely love to hear about cheaper transactions. I
yeah.
look at gas prices and I just want to
Oh
cry.
yeah.
Especially
Oh
as a
yeah.
South African, I kind of go, this is just this is madness, you know.
hmm
So this is all this sounds wonderful to me. And then look, I know that this is all supposed to be a lot simpler for users, but obviously, there's still going to be some hoops to jump through. It's not like you can just
Absolutely.
magic away all of the finer aspects of it, I suppose. But with regards to education about optics, what resources will be available to users, if any at all? Will you guys be providing that, or will you be expecting the community to be creating that stuff as well?
Both. We're going to be working directly with the community. Once the protocol goes out, like we said, we don't own it. We don't have admin capabilities. So once it rolls out to mainnet, we are just the community. We're all pretty much one. So our website will have some resources. We have some on the Learn More page of our website that kind of just describe the general transaction types that the protocols will support. So staking, mining, swapping, and then liquidity providing. And when we get closer, we will be adding more to that. This is a new type of exchange protocol. It's auto market maker, so it's different than a traditional order book style where you find the order or the price you want, you set a limit or you market buy, things like that. This is a real time swap against existing liquidity. So there are differences between the two, and we do plan on working directly with the community to put out new content on website, social media engagements. We want to have weekly meetups or maybe bi-weekly meetups with the community just to talk about it, just to see what ideas people have, their feedback, uh, who likes certain things, who doesn't, and just grow as a community together. So we will definitely continue on with that, and even it'll pick up more speed as we get closer to launch.
No doubt about that. So you're going to be involved with educating and getting engaged with the community. It's not like you're just dropping the protocol and being like, "Cool, have fun, that's it."
Yeah,
Later.
no, yeah, yeah.
I don't think that would be great for sustainability. So I'll be like,
Mhm.
"Hey, wait a second,"
Yeah.
No, that's awesome, man. That's really awesome. And then look, I know we've been talking a lot about DeFi here, and that's all fantastic. But in terms of people who inspire you, where do you draw your inspiration from? Are there any great minds or thinkers who inform your process?
This is a tough question. To be honest, not many people. In the sense of DeFi, I really look up to what Uniswap has done, and then some of the things that Compound has done as well. The achievements that they've made, being the leaders in this, is really impressive to me. So I definitely look up to them and their team. Hayden's story from Uniswap is absolutely really cool, and so I admire them big time. So I would say, for inspiration for DeFi, I do look towards those areas. But for inspiration, just to continue on and build the best solution possible. I've had this fire in me for as long as I can remember to find something new, to build it, and to make it my own. And I feel like Optex is that project now. I feel like this is the project that I've always been looking for, to where I can give it my 110% and devote everything I have to it. And now that I have that, I feel like that's 99% of the inspiration that I've ever needed. It's just having the opportunity to do this in the first place.
Wow, that's a great answer, actually. Tough question, but a great answer. I think
Yeah.
just as like I have that fire, I have that passion for it,
hmm
which is
hmm
I think a lot of people in this space, they're not motivated by the right thing. And I think just to hear that as well, it's good to hear from a creator of a protocol who's just like, look, I just have this desire to achieve and to do something really amazing. So it's great to hear somebody talking about their vision and kind of like, well, this is actually just something that I was kind of, I don't know, born to do. But
Always
sounds
wanted
like
to
that to
do
me.
it.
You were born to do it. That's awesome. That's great, man. That's great. There's nothing wrong with that. That's I think that's great. All right, and then how has working on Opdex changed or bolstered your perspective on blockchain technology?
Over the years, kind of not even so much Opdex in general, but just paying attention to blockchain, I guess. Now getting into the technicals of Opdex and building it out, I have a strong appreciation for everything that everyone has pioneered over the past 10 years. I mean, um, you look at current world events, and money is being used in I guess hidden, for lack of better words, hidden ways, with printing and debt and everything going up, and then you look at what Bitcoin has, and it really does seem like the future. And, taking that further, looking at Ethereum and making programmable money, more through smart contracts and what DeFi is doing. And it is all just incredibly exciting to me to be a part to build out this autonomous, open, free financial uh, just markets and programs. I think I am definitely more pro blockchain than I have ever been. And I think as time goes on and we continue to build and just experience new things, I think it's only going to get stronger from here.
Oh man, this is all great news. I love to hear this stuff. I can just every day I could listen to this sort of thing. We can have another interview tomorrow if you like. Um, but yeah, I totally agree, man. It's just I think with like you said, current world events and the legacy finance system, and just how completely dated and backwards it is in so many ways. It's just really great to see, and a lot of younger people as well. Whether it's NFT projects or DeFi, just getting involved and getting excited about something, because I do think there's this overarching sense of hopelessness for a lot of people, and I think that this has really just awakened a lot of creativity and energy in people who need some kind of thing to attach to, and it's very, very promising. As you say, in the last 10 years, the developments have been very, very impressive, and I think it's just going to get better and better as time goes by. So yeah, that's great to hear. So on your Market Square page, which you guys can all check out, by the way, Opdex on Market Square, they're also there. You have a partner named Stephen Lee,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
What has his role been in making Opdex? What has he done? What does he do? Because he's not with us today. But what is Stephen's role?
Yeah, so Stephen went to school for business management and got his degree in that. And me, I'm just a programmer. So um, basically, starting Opdex and with the SDA and everything, it is turned into an actual business to run. And so with a business, as many may know, there's all sorts of things that need to happen to make that compliant, make it run. And so Stephen pretty much handles everything business. You've got accounting, you've got payroll, legal obligations, you've got marketing planning, you've got communications with various advisors and things. And so Stephen handles all of that. So that way, my job is to just stay heads down on more of the technical things and work with our developers on building out the protocol. So we kind of have, almost two branches of the company. Stephen's handling the business side, business operations, and then you have me leading the technical side and the developers building out the protocol. So, Stephen's been one of my best friends my whole life. So when I asked him to join and he was available to join the team, it meant a lot. Just having a person that you could trust 100%. And I couldn't be more happy to have him as part of the team.
Fantastic. That's really great. Okay, so you're more the dev side, and Stephen is handling the business side. So he's just making sure that everything ticks over, and that you don't run aground, as it were, with the finance side. So it's
Yeah,
very
that I don't
important.
spend all the money.
Yeah, and it's good that he's a friend as well, and that you can trust him. I think finding a partner you can trust is not particularly easy. So that's very fortuitous, very, very cool. Awesome, man.
Yes.
All right, so we're kind of drawing to the end of this little meetup here. Or it's not been little; it's been pretty epic, if you ask me. But what's the big vision for Optics? Who do you want? Not what. Who do you want using it? And how do you think it will change the world for the better?
For me, it's not so much about who's using it or how much use it's getting. To be honest, I want to build the tools that people will want to use. So hopefully people will want to use it. Hopefully the community loves it, takes advantage of it. But for me, it's more about giving the developers the tools to continue building up the Stratus ecosystem and blockchain in general. And this is a big one to have. The Stratus SDA has a bunch of game proposals and other proposals coming out. So there are projects that are starting to build on Stratus more and more. And now having something like the OptX protocol where these tokens can essentially just be converted from one to another through these liquidity pools is it's a big step in a much needed piece to getting an economy of tokens moving and people using it. And so I think that's more what we're excited for. The vision is more of making it easy for developers to use these tools, to be able to allow users to swap tokens. And that's the main thing. We've been focusing on developers since we started. We've made it open source. We have some documentation out, and we're going to continue as we roll out the testnet. And then when we get to mainnet, we're going to continue dev chats and meetups. We're going to be writing Medium articles for smart contract development and things like that. And our core focus is going to be the developers and really allowing them to feel like this is theirs and they can build on top of it however they want for their own projects. So this is just a small stepping stone into a much bigger development ecosystem within Stratus.
Amazing. That's great stuff. Cool. So, Tyler, I think before we close off and sign off, as it were, is there anything else you would like to add or say to everyone out there in the crypto sphere that's sort of like on your heart?
We're excited to be here. We're extremely excited about what we're building. We can't wait to share more with the broader community and even users of other chains. We'll be sharing a lot more soon. We're ramping up to get to testnet as soon as possible within the next very soon. And we can't wait to share more details as we go into testnet and then go further into mainnet.
Amazing. Tyler, Mr. T-Pain, right?
Mr. T-Pain.
Tyler, Mr. T-Pain Pena, thank you very much for joining us today on this little chat. Guys, if you want to check out Optics, they do have a site that you can visit. It's very easy. Just search it in Google or, check it out on Twitter. Check out all their socials. This is definitely a project you're going to want to follow. And obviously check out Stratus as well. Join the Discord. Really great community. Tyler, thanks again. And we will definitely be following Optics and your progress with massive interest. Thank you.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me. It's been awesome.